have the distinct privilege now of introducing our keynote speaker, Dr. Soyeon Yi. What a remarkable, remarkable woman. Let me tell you just briefly about her background. She is a biotechnologist and an astronaut who became the first Korean to fly in space. She holds a Bachelor's of Science and a Master's of Science in Mechanical Engineering and a PhD in a field that if I read her actual dissertation out loud, I think very few of us would actually understand what it's regarding. While pursuing her doctorate, Dr. Yi applied to the Korean Astronaut Program and was selected as one of 2 finalists of the 36,000 candidates. She trained in Russia as a researcher and a backup crew member, learning the ins and outs of Korea's experiments for the International Space Station. 1 month before launch, she was made and notified that she would become a primary crew member. Must have changed, that must have been quite a day. Dr. Yi spent 12 days in space, launching on April 8th, 2008, on board the Soyuz TMA-12. After her flight, she continued her work as a senior researcher at the Korean Astronaut Project Division, KARI, as well as acting as Korea's space ambassador. Recently, Dr. Yi received her MBA. I guess learning is a lifelong endeavor. And she completed her MBA at the Haas School of Business at the University of California, Berkeley, with an emphasis on technology and global leadership in May of 2014. We are truly honored to have Dr. Yi with us. I want to share just a personal story that I think, with her permission, Dr. Yi comes from is the 3rd generation of 3 remarkable women. Her grandmother in Korea was illiterate and never had the opportunity to study and to get an education. And her mother had a primary school education, and herself also didn't have the opportunity to gain an education. And here you have Dr. Yi, who will speak to you in just a moment, with all of those credentials, being the first Korean in space, and a female astronaut, representing her country and representing today, fortunately for all of us here at Northeastern University. We are so grateful to have her here, and we're grateful that education you've had the opportunity, Dr. Yi, truly to benefit by an education. I have no doubt that her grandmother and mother would be incredibly proud of her. And number 1, and number 2, I have no doubt that had they had the opportunity, that they may have, frankly, have been as bright as Dr. Yi surely is. So we would like to turn the time over to her now. Thank you so much.
For your wonderful introduction, Scott, and then hello, class 2016 and graduating students. I'm so honored and super, super grateful to be here today with the Dean Scott and all the way back, former Dean Taylor Washburn, faculties, eager friends and family, especially graduating students. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Northeastern University in Northwest Seattle. I remember the time I met Dean Taylor Washburn first time in May 2012 during my business trip. It was a really, really short meeting before catching up my flight to Korea back. I'm pretty sure, however, without that short meeting, I cannot be here today with you. My curiosity might be caught by the Taylor at the time, since I keep thinking, Northeastern University? I know here in Seattle, here's the Northwest of the US. Oh, I know, it's far northeast from Korea. So keep thinking like that. So even if Taylor's passionate persuasion, I couldn't change my mind. And after 2 years, I came to California rather than Washington, and I studied my MBA in UC Berkeley. But after finishing my MBA degree at Cal, I came back here in Washington, Northwest Puget Sound area, and find myself playing ping pong in the backyard of Northeastern University. I can tell, we are quite blessed to study and live near historical city Tacoma, maybe all of you wondering why Tacoma, not Seattle. Even if we are sitting in the middle of the Seattle area, for me, as a nerdy, geeky engineer, Tacoma is more impressive and very magical city because I saw Tacoma Bridge photo in my textbook. I still remember black and white photo of Tacoma Bridge clearly with a beautiful curve right before falling apart. Nowadays, with the advancement of the YouTube, you can witness power of resonance and experience the resonance in full motion rather than black and white photo I did. There was a just moderate and high breeze, not a hurricane, not a typhoon. The Tacoma Narrow Bridge was the third longest suspension bridge in 1940. However, such a big bridge became a galloping gully and then finally disappeared beneath the foaming water by the wind. According to the article at the time, people couldn't believe such a disaster. Even when the bridge was starting to gallop on a wind day, and even some tourists treated the bridge toll as a fee paid to ride a roller coaster. Now it became the famous example of the resonance with the natural frequency, which has inspired a lot of engineering students. We don't have to limit resonance only in a structural mechanics or engineering world. I think resonance can happen everywhere in the world, not only between wind and bridge, but also between peoples. And everywhere the relationship exists, or between people and organization, and so on. It means we don't have to limit anything by arithmetical calculation. Let's say you can lift maximum 100 pounds, and your friends also can lift maximum 100 pounds. Then, two of you can lift only 200 pounds at most. What if two of you have a good team skills and able to encourage each other, open to any creative ideas? I bet 1,000 pounds can be easily lifted by you. I believe that is the resonance. So our life is a kind of journey to find a natural frequency for achieving resonance. Look around. Some of you already feel some resonance with Northeastern University during your study. And some of you have some intuition that you would have a good resonance in this area, heart of innovation and biomedical startup mecca, Puget Sound area. And of course, some of you will find a totally different resonance after living here. I believe this is another version of the butterfly effect, and you all can be the steady and patient breeze. At a glance, it will look small and weak, but one day, even if we don't know exactly when, you would break down one of the world's biggest bridge gloriously. Today is the day Northeastern University announced that you are ready to go out to the world and ready to start frequency scanning to find your own natural frequency. You know, as I was introduced, I'm the first Korean astronaut, the first Korean who was flown to space by the rocket. Among many senior astronauts who have already been in space several times, and colleague astronauts who had a training with me, I am one of few female and only Asian women in huge training center, especially secret Russian Air Force Base. I could be sure that I'm kind of the one little noisy point, which will be canceled after data processing. As an engineer, I cannot help but admitting I can be the one little dot in the graph, but far out of all other dots in line. If I were a researcher who should handle this kind of data, would not hesitate to disregard that small dot. However, I had an incredible moment, which can prove that I am the point that you should consider as the possibility of another curve, rather than a point to eliminate. It was the accident on the way to Earth from the space. We had a problem during re-entry. After the problem during separation process, we were upside down. We should face incredible hit with the side that doesn't have any heat shield at all. To make things worse, we had a fire situation inside of the capsule also. Ground station lost us since we were out of their range after upside down. My mom, who came to TV station for the interview after my successful landing, should face totally opposite situation, which required her to prepare the worst case scenario. Still, I feel so sorry for making my mom in that situation, not this kind of enjoyable moment, even if I didn't mean to do. Finally, after all those dramatic situations, our capsule landed in the middle of the vast flatland of Kazakhstan. We all three were rescued safely, even if we should wait until long time until the rescue and search team found us and arrived. I can tell it was my first space flight, and it will be the last also as a Korean astronaut. Since Korea doesn't have any further plan to send the Korean astronaut in several years according to their national science roadmap, so many media think I'm kind of unlucky astronaut among hundreds of other astronauts in the history, since many astronauts who flew several times didn't have any accident or abnormal situation. They were right. I could be one of the unluckiest astronauts in the world, had only 1 and 10 days flight, but one of the biggest accidents in the history. To be lucky or unlucky, that is not the question. Most important thing is how to interpret and how you use that situation for the rest of your life. I believe that moment was one of the luckiest events in my life. First of all, I survived. And I escaped death by second, literally by second. According to the investigation team, if we were exposed to heat several seconds more than we had, whole our capsule would be burnt away. Since we were upside down, how lucky was I? You can tell. On top of that, thanks to that accident, I am no more small little noise dot out of graph. Rather, I became a special dot to consider in the graph. Many colleagues astronaut and senior astronaut who has a lot of metal in their chest came to me and to hear the story about my accident. And then they tapped my shoulder and saying, "You are really prepared astronaut. How can you handle all those things in such a chaotic moment? Even if all your parents back there pray, as my parents pray, for your happy life with the least challenges, but unfortunately, there will be many challenges ahead of you." Sorry for saying that. Yes, as I told you, to be lucky or unlucky, to have a challenging situation or not, that is not the question. Even if we face the most unlucky situation ever, most important thing we should do is how we can go through and what we can learn from this. So I like the words "even though." If you need more words "even though" when you talk about your life, it means you achieved a lot gloriously in spite of the challenging situation. How I can complete this speech without talking about my real space flight in 2008. When I stayed up on the International Space Station, I greatly enjoy looking down on the Earth through the small window of my cabin. Whenever I woke up in the middle of the night, I unzipped my sleeping bag and opened the shutter, and I never get tired of looking down to the Earth. On one occasion, I suddenly wondered why and how I was born there rather than other planet, and why and how I was born in that small little Korean peninsula instead of the massive continent. Not only geographically, but also in timing. I started wondering why I was born especially in 1978 rather than another time. And then keep thinking, what if I was born in the middle of the other continent? Could I have received the education that I did before coming here? What if I was born in North Korea? Oh my God. Too close. If God threw me a little stronger, maybe I could land on the North Korea before my birth? What if I was born in 1950 in the middle of the Korean War, like my mom? Suddenly, I felt embarrassed that I have been complaining rather than being grateful about all the things I had been given through no action of my own. Without any cause, not any by choice, I was born in my country during a prosperous time. Yes, it's not fair. So many innocent kids are suffering right now where they are without any good cause. And so many people are struggling to survive through no fault of their own. Even though there were so many blessings I received from the moment I was born, I took them for granted and had never realized how lucky I was until that time. And I realized at that time that I should be grateful for all that I have. My friends, siblings, sometimes annoying my sister, parents, teacher, colleagues, everyone around me, even my friends who believe me, for better or for worse, as well as the wind, the sky, the stars, the moon, the mountain, the air, even the long rainy season over here. Of course, I cannot pass without appreciating the earth and gravity. I have been surrounded by so many things that I should be grateful for, but I was too ignorant to realize it until that moment. I really want to tell, of course, you did your best to finish your master's and PhD. You should be so proud of yourself, and all your parents back there, they are so proud of you. However, remember, we should be grateful for the very first phase, blessing moment, where you were born and who you regarded as a family right after your birth without any reason. That started your whole game quite unfairly. I think our life would be the way to be the person who deserves such a blessing and unfair start. We would get there with contributing ourselves to society, community, and helping people who couldn't have that start without any fault of their own. Definitely, you have stronger intellectual power than others if you are here for your commencement. Then you should be more responsible than others also. With great power, there must also come great responsibility, as Uncle Ben said. Talking of my spaceflight always brings one of the most inspiring person of mine, Russian grandfather of rocketry, Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. Maybe some of you never heard about his name because at that time Soviet was the enemy of America. But Tsiolkovsky is above all Russian historical figures, such as world's first astronaut Yuri Gagarin, and Russian version of the von Braun, Sergei Korolev. Surprisingly, he was a self-educated man, but he developed insights into space travel and rocket science that are all still in use over 100 years later nowadays. During my cosmonaut training, I have incredibly great privilege to be a friend of a great grandchild of Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. His name is Sergei. And then one day, Sergei and one of my best friends, Russian cosmonaut Oleg, almost kidnapped me. And then they just tell me, you should go. Where? You may not know. But anyway, take on the car. And took me some strange small village out of the Moscow after driving 2 hours. Oh my God, where am I? They didn't tell me at all. You just should come if you are an astronaut. And then car stopped in front of the small little house, very old house. And there was a small sign on the front door, the Tsiolkovsky Memorial House Museum. It was the place Tsiolkovsky had lived. In front desk, one of Sergei's cousins is working as a manager. We went to another house where Tsiolkovsky passed away in his old age. Still, Sergei's cousin is living with his family. That house address was, still I couldn't remember, 1 Tsiolkovsky Avenue. And to commemorate Tsiolkovsky, Russia has one of the biggest space museums in that village, Kaluga. Even if that small village, they have an incredibly big space museum over there. I cannot tell how much I was excited during that mysterious one-day trip with learning a lot of Russian space history. On one side of the wall of the museum, there was a big, huge sign of Tsiolkovsky's famous saying, "A planet is the cradle of humanity, but one should not live in the cradle forever." From that day, that phrase was tattooed in my mind, just like an old Bonnie theme song. But I couldn't understand what this really meant, even until I flew to the space. In my mind, I keep thinking, yeah, okay, could be cradle of humanity. But why? We shouldn't live here on the earth forever. Yes, in the whole universe, as far as we can reach, Earth is the only place where we human can get everything we need for surviving, like air, water, food, kind of things, and gravity. Okay, then it makes sense that Earth is our cradle, as a baby can get everything in their cradle. Why we shouldn't live here forever in our cradle? We are all like a baby in the cradle, as humankind on the earth. What if baby can stay in cradle forever? What would happen to that baby? Of course, that baby can survive because they can eat and they can peel the diaper. Mom will change it, everything. However, can that baby grow up as a normal grown-up? Thinking of the time when we were baby, in order to live without a diaper, instead to use restroom like a civilized person, and to go wherever we really want to go, to eat whatever we want to eat, we should get out of the cradle. Even if the first step was really tough and hard to get out of the cradle, you cannot remember, but your mom remember. You feel so hard after the cradle. We need that moment, even if it's really, really hard. Of course, sometimes we went back to cradle because we are not prepared yet, and to prepare ourselves for further journey later. Only after my space flight did I realize the meaning of that saying to a point. A planet is cradle of humanity, but one should not live in a cradle forever. That's why I and all other astronauts fly to space station to develop more technology. On the way out of the cradle, during exploring out of the cradle, how much we humankind achieved and learned. There was it. There was the he talked about. You admit it or not, Northeastern University was also one of your cradles for your life. And now you are ready to get out of that cradle, to develop yourself more, to learn more with exploring the world, and to change the world. Please don't forget who changed your diapers in the cradle, who brought the milk bottle whenever you cried with the hungry, and who took you out of the cradle for a while to help you ready for that. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your cradle and enjoy your new chapter of life. Godspeed. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.